Hi, everyone, and welcome to Healing Tomorrow. And I am really excited today to be able to interview a dear, quote, old friend, but he's not that old, but we go back quite a few decades now, and it's my honor and delight to welcome Ocean Robbins to our Healing Tomorrow podcast. And Ocean is the CEO and co-founder of a wonderful organization called the Food Revolution Network. And I'd like to jump right in and find out the nature of this wonderful organization. So, Ocean, tell us briefly, what is the Food Revolution Network? What are your goals? What are your vision?
Well, Food Revolution Network is an online education and activism community of more than 1 million members. And our mission is healthy, ethical, and sustainable food for all. And we have master classes and courses and films and a membership community and a plant-based coaching certification and a blog that reaches millions of people every year and an email list of over 1 million. And, we really want to change the way the world eats. A small thing, right? but, when we live in a toxic food culture that's causing suffering, disease, and death to so many people while also fueling so much suffering for animals and the destruction of our environment, it feels like such a powerful leverage point. When we change what we eat, we can literally change everything. So that's what we're about, and we provide educational resources and recipes and practical how-to support. And we're also advocates because we want to change systems to make it easier for people to do the right thing.
What kind of programs are you advocating for or against these days?
Well, we want to see a shift to government policies that cease to favor big pharma and the agribusiness industry and factory farms and start to favor health and act like our health matters. So that might show up with something like subsidizing healthy foods instead of junk foods. Twinkies has 14 subsidized ingredients. Broccoli has none, right? It might look like promoting nutritional education in medical school, which you're taking such leadership on so that doctors learn about food. I think a doctor who doesn't know about food is kind of like a firefighter who doesn't know about water. Food is the foundation of health or disease, but most doctors, as you well know, are not learning about it. So we would like to see if we can help change some of that. And then we want to change, the SNAP program, which is food stamps, so that people get more value when they use their SNAP dollars to buy fruits and vegetables. There's a program called Double Up Bucks that does exactly that, and then get healthier meals in schools. So all of these things are kind of systemic changes, but the thing I want everyone to remember is that every bite we take is super personal and it's also political. So you've got to think about what kind of world are you voting for with your knife and fork? What are you taking into your body? And what is your legacy to the world around you? Because when we change our food choices, we actually shift the economy towards a life economy instead of a death economy. And in that process, the more of us who buy simple, wholesome, healthy foods, the more we support regenerative, organic, local, fair trade agriculture based around plants instead of animals, we can create a better world.
Yes, well, that's inspiring to hear. You must appeal to all age ranges, but I get the feeling that there's a youthful vibration to the Food Revolution Network. Where would you say your average participant is on the age scale?
We have a pretty young staff. A lot of our staff are under 30, but our audience tends to be, a little older. I think the reality is that when it comes to health, that's the biggest driver for a lot of people. Younger people are more motivated by the environment and animals, and older people are more motivated by health. But we focus a lot on health and the health side of eating, and so we appeal to folks often who have lived long enough to realize they will not live forever, especially if they don't make some changes. So we tend to attract a lot of folks in their 50s and 60s, honestly, who are ready to think differently and act differently than the norm, and ask the questions and make the changes. And often health challenges are part of that for a lot of people. That said, of course, we want to reach younger folks, and that's an important piece too.
So it's change before you have to change, right?
Well, pain pushes and vision pulls. And I see a lot of people who are really motivated, but they don't want to be in pain anymore. They're sick and suffering, and worried and stressing, and having test results come back bad and being afraid for their future. So they get motivated to make big changes. But what happens is sometimes they make those big changes and they get results and they feel better. Before long, they slide back. Why? Because they don't have that motivation anymore. because they're not in pain anymore. So it's an interesting dynamic. I think you've got to get off the pain track at some point and move into the vision track. What do you want your legacy to be? How can you keep feeling better, more alive, more joyous, more fulfilled? How can you keep making progress towards your goals and your dreams? How can you make your diet optimal? Because you can do a lot better than the standard American diet and still have loads of room for improvement before you're truly creating a pristine environment for your cells to thrive. And when you get to that kind of a place, you have better sleep, you have more energy, you feel more alive, you have a clearer mind, and you live longer.
Now, Ocean, I know you and I share a deep reverence and passion for our dear planet Earth and the environment. We both grieve over what the standard American meat-based diet is doing to the planet on so many levels. And I often view, when I hear the young people, the millennials and those following them, they are scared about what they're seeing. They're watching the polar ice caps melt. They're watching the weather change, and they're angry at the generations that created these dreadful changes. And I'm feeling, though, that this wonderful demographic of youthful, visionary young people is a sleeping giant for just from their numbers and their voting power. Yeah. And what I'm waiting for them to make that connection, that burger that they're loving to eat is the very thing that is driving their ecological juggernaut against them. Mm-hmm. And if they could just get it out to the folks in their generation, their age group, stop eating the meat, it's killing us, it's killing our future. That could ripple through in 3 mouse clicks. You could change the world there. And yet there seems to be an inertia, a reluctance, a lethargy, I don't know, in that generation on some level. We haven't said the magic words, the incantation. So I'm curious, you've been motivating young people for years now. What have you learned about what it takes to move young people, awaken them and motivate them to change their diet and vote?
Well, as you know, before I started Food Revolution at work with my dad in 2012, I was the founding director of a nonprofit called YES, or Youth for Environmental Sanity, which I directed for 20 years, starting as a teenager. And so in that organization, we spoke in high school assemblies across the United States and organized summer camps and workshops and training programs for young leaders from 65 countries over the course of 20 years. So I worked a lot with young people until I no longer was one. And the overriding experience that I had was that there was a direct correlation between action and hope. So the more apathetic people were, the less engaged they were, the more cynical they were about their future. So I realized that really apathy begets cynicism and action begets hope. And so I think that's the magic sauce, if you will. If you want to instill hope and create a generation of change makers instead of a generation of followers, then we have to instill a sense of action and help people find the joy that comes from service, from contribution, from making a difference in the lives of others. And, I think we live in a culture that often glorifies conspicuous consumption and a kind of selfish narcissism, as if you could truly be happy on a dying planet at someone else's expense, as if the spoils of greed and avarice and destruction can somehow be fulfilling and satisfying to a life. And it's a lie. But some people think if I just had enough stuff, if I just have enough power, if I have enough material success, or the world thinks enough of me for succeeding at its game, then I will be happy and fulfilled. But it never can happen, because the game of the world, the success in those terms of more money, more power, more aggrandizement, is an empty one in a toxic system, right? And so I'm interested in the kind of joy, the kind of satisfaction, the kind of fulfillment that comes from a life lived with meaning and purpose and conviction. And when we can instill those values, I think we help people find their peace and their purpose. There's a saying that the 2 most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you discover why you're born. And I think for a lot of us, we're still trying to figure out, why the heck was I born? What am I here for? But I would submit that every one of us has a fundamental sense of purpose deep inside of us, whether it's dormant or not, that is why we're alive. And when we are accountable to that, then we realize that that's what we're going to carry with us. When we die, as we all will, I don't think we take any money or any power or even what anyone thought of us with us. But maybe we take something of love, maybe we take something of what our soul has learned while we were alive. And so I believe that helping people to be more in integrity with their core values is a spiritual mission, if you will, that also happens to be critical to the survival of life on Earth. Because in these times, with all of the crises and challenges we face, the world urgently needs people who have woken up to their calling and their purpose and their right response. And I think our own basic humanity demands that as well.
Oh, beautifully answered. Thank you. Just two more questions. Food Revolution Network sounds really dynamic and it's action-oriented. I just love to hear all the things you are doing. As you said, action is the antidote to apathy. And it's about learning new things, connecting with people, promoting programs. That's wonderful. I'm assuming if people want to connect with Food Revolution, they go to frn.org.
Foodrevolution.org.
Foodrevolution.org. Fair enough. Foodrevolution.org. And so I'd be curious, as the Food Revolution wheels are turning, if you look through your binocular 3 years down the road, 5 years down, where do you see the Food Revolution being? If you could accomplish your immediate goals here, how does FRN look to you 5 years from now?
At a practical, tactical level, we want to reach more people with our blogs and our annual summits and our master classes, and we run ads to create opportunities for people to engage with free resources, and then once they're in the journey, they can go on and become customers of our different products if they want to. But one of the things we're planning to launch, we've got a coaching certification program, and we have a membership community for folks who want to not just make a change, but stick with it and keep optimizing and improving. And we want to make a bridge between those two communities to create programs where folks can get coached, get that kind of personal, hands-on accountability and support, while some of these coaches can get business, right? So we want to create some programs for those worlds to come together, because we've got 1 million members on our email list. A lot of those people, know what to do, but they don't know how to do what they know. And so we want to help make it easier for folks to really stick with it and optimize their healthy lifestyle and make it work for them. And we want to make it easier for folks who want to be mentors and guides and stewards. There's amazing coaches in our community, because you've mentored some of them. And we want to help them be able to make a business out of it. So that's kind of the matchmaking and the systems we want to set up. And then we want to grow our membership community and build out an app and create free resources as well as paid resources to help folks who want to live that change. Because it's like, okay, I want to eat more vegetables. Where the heck do I start? What do I do? My life's stressful and exhausting and I've got some bad habits. Okay, we can solve that. And the key thing is it's one step at a time. The best time to repair a roof is when the sun's shining, not when it's pouring rain, right? And a lot of people, when they're in distress, they're like, I got to eat better. But the right time to form a new habit isn't at 1 o'clock in the morning when you're on the wrong end of an empty bag of cookies, in front of the TV set after you just lost your job. You want to do it when you got some time and space, and you want to plan ahead and set yourself up for success. So we want to set people up for success and create more mechanisms for doing so. And then, beyond that, we want to change policy, of course. Right now it's kind of like you're being fined for wearing your seatbelt. You have to pay extra and work extra hard just to take good care of your body. We want to flip that on its head so that it's easier for people to do the right thing for their families, and that's going to take government policies and corporate change and educational institution change and consumer change. And we want to see what we can't do to raise awareness and empower action.
Oh, excellent. I'll have one more question, but first I must give a comment and a compliment. The brilliant vision you and FRN has to focus on creating really high-quality food coaches. Because talk about an invaluable but underrated professional service. It's the missing link. It's the magic sauce that makes the wheels go around, whatever the analogy is. But people, the doctor says you should eat plant-based. I'm that doc. And the dietitian who's taking care of patients with lupus and colitis, she doesn't have a lot of time to show you how to steam asparagus. but the health coach does. And when you run into the problems that will keep someone stuck city, and they just can't, I don't know what to shop for, I don't know how to make the stuff, and they stay stuck and they give up. It's the health coach who steps in and says, here's how you do it. And that is so invaluable. You save people's lives doing that. And no one hears about that rule, but it's such a key one, especially for lifestyle medicine doctors. So I really commend you and it's a brilliant program. It's exactly what you need to be churning out these high quality folks. So well done and thank you.
Thank you.
Last thing, let's say the world's biggest stadium got constructed, and all the young people of the world are sitting in the bleachers there, and they call your name and they hand you the microphone and say 2 things to the young people of the world to help make their vision a little clearer, give them some hope in their hearts. What would you say to your recently contemporaries there?
I would say, first of all, to paraphrase George Bernard Shaw a little bit, the true joy in life is to be of service. You are not a feverish clot of ailments and grievances complaining that the world won't devote itself to making you happy. You are a member of the community, and you have the privilege of doing for it what you can before you die, and that will bring you fulfillment and joy more than aggrandizement or money or power ever could. Number 2, I would say what you eat shapes your health and shapes the health of your planet. So make conscious food choices that align with your values and get informed about the true impact of the food on your plate, because what you eat literally becomes you. It shapes your thoughts, it shapes your consciousness, it shapes your heart, it shapes the flow of blood through your arteries, it shapes how much energy you have and how you feel. It also shapes our planet, it shapes whether or not species will survive, it shapes whether or not we have water to grow food, it shapes whether or not we have topsoil, it shapes the survival of the rainforests, it shapes the future for our kids. Be the change, live the change, and eat the change.
Can't add a thing to that. Ocean Robbins, CEO of foodrevolution.org. Thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom, for your work, and for your friendship over all these years. Thank you so much, Ocean.
Thank you, Michael. Working with you is such a joy, and we do go back a ways, and I'm grateful for every moment of our friendship and your mentorship and your partnership in this work.
Indeed. Great partnership we have. All right.
Okay.
Yay. Thank you, Ocean.
All right.
That was great. That was a good one.
Really good.
So we'll see what comes of that.